It's Only Humanities episode 41. It's quite late of night. We found one another over the internet again for the first time, because this is the first one we've done since the Game of the Year show.
That can't be right.
It 100% is. It's the first Only Humanities since the Game of the Year show. Which is a little bit weird.
That is weird, which means we must have an awful lot to talk about.
I'd been like writing odd little bits sort of in coffee shops and like, I can mention this, and this happened and stuff. And then that sort of drifted away a little bit, and then like newer stuff happened, and we still had been missing one another, both in heart and in actuality. And so when I actually looked at this document, I was like, I can't do all this. And part of it was me looking back on a memoir, going, I remember this very well.
Yes, January. It was a good month.
This did happen to me. Although the one thing I am going to pick up on from the Game of the Year show is I had as Game of the Year, my Game of the Year, Skyforce Anniversary, which is an amazing shoot 'em up, and I nerded out about it quite heavily. You picked it up, Martin Charlton did, Janos did, as did a few people on Twitter as well, and coinciding with the show was a massive price drop. And tell me your tales, sir.
Well, yeah, I grabbed it, because I think I grabbed two of the games you had. I had that and Oceanhorn, and Oceanhorn
Cool.
I dipped my toe into, but not really more than 20 minutes.
Okay.
Because Skyforce is really good, is the thing. And it stole me away for a while. And for a while, I was the only one on it. My hot scores list, wow, it only had me. So I'm like, well, I'm the king of Fucktown. There's no one here. And then, a couple of weeks ago, or a few sort of weeks or months ago, I don't know, it's been a while. Sort of names have started to appear, like, that person bought it, and like Martin Charlton and Janos, like you say, like I know those names.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Skyforce is good, isn't it?
It's a strange little blighter, and I've kind of, it's been weird go back to, because I picked it up on PS4 as well with this price drop. So it dropped down to about something like £2.39 or something daft, and it was weird going back to it from the mindset that I was in on Xbox One. Going back to the start of the game again, it's a completely different game. The way that you think about the game when you get further on is like incredibly strategic. So at the start, you are just building up your ship, and you're picking up stars from enemies, and you can get the front cannon, the side cannons. You can get missiles. There's a magnet that can attract the stars to you a little bit quicker, and then
that magnet's good stuff.
Magnet is good stuff. And then when you get further on, you get mega bombs that you can get, lasers, like massive sprawling sort of lasers that can go top to bottom of the screen, and what's the
super spiffy shield?
Yeah, there's a shield as well. And obviously at the start you're doing your best to try and do your ship up and try and get a little bit sort of more firepower, and you can't get to everything on screen, but all of the stars that you're getting, you're putting towards your new weapons and stuff. But the mindset that you get into later on, when you've got sort of a super ship, and you go on through the levels, and you can levels can kind of increase in difficulty. You can replay them in difficulty, or you can move on like through the game and stuff. But you start thinking, well, is this the point where I need to sweep across with the laser? Is this the point where I drop a mega bomb? I can't reach all of those enemies. What do I do? And you start being more strategic about using the specials to clear everything. And how addictive is it to try and get near all of those little achievements in one level? To try and get, because you get achievements for all the stars, all the humans that you pick up as well. 100%
70% 70% enemies and 100% enemies.
Yeah. And it is a huge drive to get them. It is a huge push to have it. It almost plays out like a ballet, doesn't it? When you do it well, and you're like,
see, I found that I wasn't as I was like, if I was doing a run, I mean, like not quite at the start. At the start, it's just get through the damn level, do it, survive it, and as you start upgrading your ship, you can start going for those runs. I found that I would kind of aim to just do one of them at a time. Like I'd start off trying to do all of them, and then if you take that single hit, you're like, right, well the no hitter's done. Right, let's see if we can kill every enemy. And then that's fucked. Right, let's see if we can get the humans. You check things off in your head, like with the little the icons in the top left, you can see, or sorry, top right, you can see what you've already cocked up. I find that like a shoot all the enemies run becomes basically a no hitter at the same time. Like I generally tend to do those two at the same time. I found that I didn't care about getting all of the things at once until I'd done it for the first time, and then I was like, oh, that felt good. Look at my giant score penis right now. That's a big penis. I'd like that to be larger.
This is completely aside from like actual like gaming trophies and stuff. It's just you want to see that stuff rack up with that like the fruit machine noises that it does at the end when it shows sort of what you've done.
And I mean, I am absolutely not like a high score game kind of gamer. Like the kind of games that come out where you kind of have a score race with your mates. Like that's not normally the sort of thing I go for. I'm not in it for that sort of thing. I just want to beat the game and feel good about myself. I don't want to kind of like, oh well, so and so got 100 more points on level 2. Oh, I guess I'm not as good as you.
How did you react though when I came to you and I said, "Oh, Pad, I've knocked you down the leaderboard"?
I said, not out loud to you, but I said in my head, eat my butt, and I was back in until I had gotten past you with a bit of a lead.
Martin Shelton is way, way, way ahead in the leaderboard, but I think there's a nice little story with that, because he says because you can play it like couch co-op, and he's been playing it with his lad, and he said that...
Well, that's cheating. He's got two ships. We've only got one each. That's not fair.
There we go. Corruption.
Cut his score in half.
Corruption of the Charlton. But he did say that because there's a bit where you're going through one of the levels and you can turn like a nuclear power station into a mega bomb by sort of shooting at the centre of it and timing it well. But if you continue to shoot at the centre, like the lid like pops off like a jar and flies up towards the telly and like bounces off the telly. And he said his lad was absolutely killing himself laughing when it happened.
Wait, you can turn that into a mega bomb?
Yeah, if you
I have never not shot that until the thing flew up into the telly. That's what it's for.
If you delay when it comes on screen. Say if you've got like helicopters coming down from the left-hand side, helicopters coming down from the right-hand side, you've got like a few tanks coming on and stuff. Then you've got some planes coming in. If you delay shooting that thing until it explodes, with as much on screen as possible, it all goes.
Fuck.
See, there's so.
Oh, see, I just shot the damn thing.
You see, there's so much. In the game, I think it looks beautiful as well. It's not a shoot 'em up that's particularly bullet hell either. It's
manageable. The pace is a bit not slower, but the pace is it's more paced, and like you place where your ship goes, and it's not the kind of the frantic kind of dead. But you've got a little bit of room for error, on the earlier levels anyway. You've got that room to make a couple of mistakes and to learn how to dodge things and how to make the automated turrets kind of shoot where you're not going to be and then fly back where you need to be. Like for rescuing humans when they're near a turret, you make them shoot over to the left and then spin to the right while it's not looking at you.
Yeah, oftentimes if you've got
you've
got like a wave of planes coming in, there is a point if there's a turret ahead of you that you can maybe line up with the planes and the turret. And kind of shoot them at the same time and stuff. But it's a game that, rather than just throwing like a million bullets at you, kind of wants you to do well. And it wants to get its hooks in you for you to keep playing. And like I say, that everything just changes as soon as you start going through to the harder difficulties on the individual levels, or going through to the later levels, where you have to be strategic about a lot of the stars at that point you're using to buy the lasers, the mega bombs, and the shields at the start. And it is really satisfying when you get like 3 of the helicopters coming down from the left hand side, and you smash the shield on it and you just ram them. I absolutely love that. Or when you have the revelation.
I'm my own worst enemy actually with that. I think because I get I'm much like any game with any form of bullet or gun in it. I'm very of the opinion like, I'll see if I can do it with my standard gun first. I don't want to use my laser unless I really, really, really have to. And I get to the end boss and I've got 5 lasers, 3 bombs, and 2 shields. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna smash the face buttons until I've won.
You've got stuff like people have said this about Zelda, about finding your own way of doing stuff. But there was a certain point where I got a boss and I was like, I was trying to take out like the different guns on the different sides of the ship and stuff, and I was like, I can just put a shield on, go to the middle of that ship and drop a bomb, and then drop another bomb, and it's gone. And that confidence brings an extra fluency into the game because you start thinking out of your comfort zone again. And I think one of the biggest compliments I can pay the game is that it's a very easy game to put on. And I've been playing loads of RPGs and stuff at the minute, but it's one of those where I can just get in if I'm knackered from work and just kick it on and just enjoy myself, just lose myself in it. For
me, it's a good 5-minute game. Like it kind of fills the gap when I don't want to play anything too involved. Yeah, like I just want to turn a game on, have a bit of shoot fun, and then when it's time to go do something else, it's time to go do something else. And I'm not too invested. It's not like The Witcher where I need an hour for this. Like it's a
20 minutes, half an hour.
It's a biscuit,
or it's
a biscuit of a game.
If you put something in the oven and you're waiting for it, and that's not a put down of the game at all, because you are completely invested and involved when you're playing it. It's a magnificent little game. And I still think it deserves greater due than it's gotten, because it's just one of those sort of little indie gems that's kind of disappeared really, and there is something really special about it. So I mean, I wondered if there was a way kind of somebody would do a controller for the Switch whereby instead of like the screen could be like turned facing upwards, so it was like an arcade machine, and you could kind of find some sort of pad kind of thing that would lock in the bottom, and then put the Joy-Cons like either side, so it would just be like a vertical sort of screen. I think that'd be really good for something like Sky, of course, because a lot of people are...
Yeah, see, for me though, back in the day, a couple of years ago, this would have been a PlayStation Plus game. Like, this would have been no question a PlayStation Plus game, and it should be. I don't want another twin stick fucking shooty game. Like, we're getting, is it Alien Nation this week?
I think
this
so,
month, and Plus has just come out. Who gives a fuck anymore?
You see,
give me something different. There's so many of those kind of games in that list now. I feel like this is the sort of thing it's immediate and it's fun, and you pick it up in like 2 seconds. And I think you could get the little, a high score battle going with your pals. Because I mean, looking at the list already, I mean, I'm angry at Martin Charlton for having more points than me.
Now you know he's roped his son into that corruption as well.
Yeah, now I know he's cheated.
I know, but raising a child that way, how dare you, Martin?
Shocking parenting.
But do they? I presume they'd have to share the stars between them though as well.
Well, that would be that's instead of 15 million points, they've each got 7.5 million.
Yeah,
minus $1 million for cheating, so that's actually 6.5 million.
But I can imagine that if this, because I hadn't thought about this, but if this did turn up on Plus and this did kick off, I think it might go a little bit Rocket League. I think that if I got a friends list on PS4 that rather than having like 3 or 4 people playing the game, was just full of people playing it and sort of trying to outdo each other and stuff. I think it's a mind-blowing game. And you're right, it would do really well on Plus.
I think like a split screen mode could be kind of fun. Not like imagine so I think for something to be like Rocket League, it needs to have some sort of good multiplayer component, like a fighting each other minute. I think for me it would be like you hook up with another player online, just 2 of you. I think your screen divides in 2. You get one half of the screen, they get the other half of the screen, and then you see how many points you can get, and you see each other playing in real time, and you can see the scores there. I think that could be kind of fun.
I was just meaning
like having 2 arcade cabinets next to each other, basically,
with
in your house.
With Rocket League. I was meaning more like it would get a degree of attention that it might not have gotten on its own.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But
definitely.
also, I think that tying into the specific of the Rocket League thing that you just mentioned, that I think it would get the sort of attention where maybe the developers could go, right, well, we'll do this for a second one, and we'll do this for a second one, and there'd be a degree of anticipation for people looking forward to it. So.
Oh, for true. And now I've played a good chunk of it, even more so than I thought before. If you like this and you have access to PlayStation Minis on any machine you own, look out for a space shooter for $2, because it's basically the same thing. The levels are probably a little bit longer. It's a little bit more bullet helly from what I remember. It's a bit more sort of Mega Man power-ups, but it's basically the same thing. You go through levels, you earn points, you earn, like, not stars, I think it's like moon money that you earn, and you spend your moon money to make your ship better. You buy better shields and better guns and better missiles, and it's the same sort of thing, and it's got quite a fun sort of cartoony sort of Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic to it as well, which is kind of good. So yeah, it's really, really good, and it's basically the same. If you like this, look out for that. And it is, like you say, it's £2.
Sweet.
Like, it is what it says in the tin. It is £2.
McMarvelous.
Yeah, Skyforce is good, man.
So yeah, people buy it, please, because I want to
spend your dollar.
I want more people playing it because it is just a tremendous game, and I think even at full price, it's not that expensive really. Even though I've now bought it twice.
It's $7.99. It's nothing.
I've now bought it twice, and when I booted it on Wii U, I noticed it was on the Wii U as well, and I was like, "Give me time." What have you been playing?
I mean, like, it's only $7.99. That's half the price of a KFC bucket, which what I had for dinner today. It's nothing.
You've put it in terms of greasy chicken.
Yeah, half a bucket of greasy chicken, you could have a fun shoot game that will last you for ages.
So what you got to tell me then first, Mister?
What I'm playing?
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing a couple of things, like nothing too hard, because a lot of things I've been playing have been Dark Souls the last few weeks.
Oh yeah, you've been one-broing.
I've been one-broing, and I've been looking at the Ring City, and I've been looking at Dark Souls 2 a bit again. So we've got another show for that. So we'll save all that for then. I think my opinions will be well predicted.
Cool. Have you just to jump into that briefly? Have you seen that the Surge that's coming out? By the people.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I watched Sunlight Blade's little bit on that the other day, and it looked a lot better than I thought it'd be. Kind of Fallout 4 meets
interesting,
Souls.
but I'd like to get my hand on it.
Yeah, very much.
Hands, not just hand. Let's
get
both hands.
The best thing they could do is to chuck that demo out on PSN.
Yeah, man, throw a demo out. Like that's how you
people get a feel of it. Yeah, I mean, how many times has that happened in the last year where folks have just had a pop at something that they thought might not necessarily be for them, and it really was.
Looking at you, Doom.
Well, look, you can say Dragon Quest Builders, Neo.
Yeah, definitely.
There's quite a few.
Nier has worked for a lot of people.
Yeah, the resurgence of the demo.
Ooh, for the Surge.
So, what you got to tell me, yo?
Well, I've been playing something else that I want to talk to you about, but I think we've got to save that for another time. I would like to talk about Nier with you.
Yeah, but we can do that super specifically another time as well.
We'll just do generals then. I'll do generals, all right? So, I've been playing Nier Automata, being a massive fan of the last game, which I've made no secret about. You know, if you listen to the show, you know that I like that game. For the things it did, and just so out there. It was just so out there. So I was naturally on board when Automata was announced. I was worried initially when it was said that Platinum were going to be dealing with a lot of the gameplay stuff.
You were worried?
And for me, the original Nier, its combat and its like fighting wasn't the point. It was the story, it was the world, that was the point. Like, the combat wasn't the point. And I worried that if Platinum took over, it would become like a game about doing perfect dodges and super S combos, and the plot would take not a back burner, but it would lose the focus. But those fears were completely unfounded, because all that's happened is that Platinum have done the combat, and then the combat's really good, and then the gameplay is really good, and then the plot stuff is also really good. and the world is really good, and it's really good.
Would you say his Yoko Taro's vision, you feel, has come through a little more on this one than the original game? The original game is getting a reprint in Europe as well, which is really crazy.
It is, man. Yeah. Do you know? Okay, so here's the thing. So when I played Nier for the first time, for the only time, I banged through it. I did endings A, B, C, and D.
This is the first one, or
this is the first one.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the original game because that's Drakengard 3. So Nier 2, isn't it? It's one of them.
Yeah, it's Drakengard 2, isn't it? It's ending.
Drakengard something.
Yeah.
Games are hard.
Drakengard 3 sold out everywhere now. You can't get it.
Yeah, of course it has, because this is kicked right in. I played Nier originally, and I got to the D ending, which we talked about before, is the one that deletes your save file completely. And I felt that was such a perfect end. I'm never touching it again. Like, I'm done, and that's not a bad thing. That's not to say I didn't like the game. I love that game, but I feel like that was a really good way just to cap it off and be like, "Yep, I'm done. That's enough. I'm finished. That's perfect. I don't need to sully this anymore. Like, I don't want to sully the memory of it by going back and thinking, oh, actually, the subquests weren't very good. Like, no, that's it. I've finished it. I've got a good feeling on it, and I'm done. So it's quite hard for me to remember the specifics of original Nier. Like, I just kind of get vague, not feelings, but I get more of like a general remembrance of it just being just a weird, bizarre, but really well crafted world. With lots more going on under the surface than it looks.
Would you agree that it is important for me to play the first game before playing the second? Because everybody's gone them fields.
I think you could play Nier Automata on its own without playing the original Nier, and you would get a lot out of it. Like, it is a good game, and there is a lot that it does on its own. But there are a few callbacks in it that will kill you if you've played the original. And there are a few bits where I had to stop. And Laura was there with me when we were playing through kind of the big callbacky bit. And it wasn't the callbacks I was expecting. And I was like, I'm sorry, what now? No. Ooh. That noise that we make whenever something happens in a game and we go, no.
No.
I know where we are. No. What? This is... No. Hang on a second.
That's not a spoiler.
And that happened to get... Yeah, that happened hard.
Okay.
And I think you will appreciate Automata more, I think, if you've played the original Nier. It is definitely a grind, and I think if you're going to play the original Nier and then go to Automata, I think you owe it to yourself to go through it, at least the new game plus 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this properly because I know.
Yeah, finish it because it has got like new content every time. You know, like Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I like how you're framing this specifically.
See what I did there?
Yeah, it was very good.
Thanks. I sold it to you. Has its new game plus mode is different and worthwhile. Yeah. This is the same. It's different. More from a plot wise thing than from a gameplay wise. The gameplay remains very similar, but the plot and some of the plot points, like you change focus from Nier. The second run through, you focus more on Kaine. And more about the sort of things that she's dealing with, and you get a bit more of her story and the stuff she's done. And that's, I was like, oh, I see. We're doing this now. Oh. Nier Automata does the same thing. So you've got your main game, but you're not done when you've finished. You've not even half done it when you've seen the credits. You go through at least another 2 or 3 more times. And again, I reached an ending of the game where I thought, you know what? I'm done.
Because I don't know. I don't know anybody that this game, like speaking about Automata and to a degree like the first Nier as well. I don't know anybody with Automata that's not been absolutely floored by it, like absolutely floored. And the amount of folks that have been saying, "Don't forget this for the Game of the Year stuff," just because it's early in the year. Don't forget it.
Yeah. It's got a... I don't want to say... No, maybe I suppose, yeah. It's got like a maturity to its content that you don't see a lot in this kind of game. Like, a lot of the things that are being discussed, they use these robot machines to put across some really, quite good issues, some good points, and explore some sort of philosophical sort of standpoints using these robots that are becoming sort of more self-aware and wondering what their place is in the world. These things made to kill that have got nothing left to kill, and they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. They question what their lives are. It's really kind of like I saw someone on Twitter say, if you're having any kind of existential crisis, if you don't know who you are, or you're really kind of lost in yourself, play Nier Automata.
There are people that I speak to on Twitter who have very good souls, no pun intended.
Very good.
Who are quite deep, emotional, philosophical, articulate people. Like Gimme the Fife on Twitter, and in particular was the first to really speak out about how she was struggling to process her emotions at the end of it, and what it said to her specifically and personally, and it seems to have hit like a whole bunch of people like that. It's really amazing.
I'd say so. Yeah, I kind of you get a choice at the end, end. And I made the wrong one initially.
Okay.
Because I wanted to I thought, oh no, I'll go back. I'll finish off the extra endings, because there are 26 endings to find in this. 5 of them are normal, and the other ones are kind of like joke endings almost. Not joke, but like short ones where the credits whiz past in 2 seconds and then it resets you back where you saved to your last save point as well. Like, so if you didn't save for an hour. So it does that, and I thought I want to go through and finish off the side quests and do some extra endings, and I did a couple, and I thought, nah, that's not how I want to finish. That's not the end that I want. I don't want that to be the last thing I think about this game, because the original Nier was such a special game for me, and I wanted that for this as well, and it earned it. By the end, I was so invested. I was like, no, this has to end the proper way again. Like, I have to be finished properly and done. So I replayed the E ending, but no spoilers for those who know what E ending is. And I made the choice, and I'm finished, and I'm done. I've uninstalled it from my hard drive, and I've put the game away.
You're not
gonna, I've uninstalled.
You're not going to get the DLC.
Well, I did that before they announced that.
Have you seen something that I saw was interesting, and I've only seen it reported on one site yet thus far, so I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I think 2B's going to be in Tekken 7.
What?
Yeah,
Laura.
What?
2B from Nier Automata is going to be in Tekken 7. Ha! Yeah, boy.
There was a piece the other day on it, and I've only seen it reported on one site, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it was 2B that was mentioned. But yeah, that's
please.
That's it's kind of cool, and with it being like a platinum thing, I just think that'd be a neat little guest slot and surprise.
Fucking superb. That's a good fit as well. That's a really good fit. Oh man, but yeah, I like. I initially was quite like, do I want to play some Nier DLC? Do I want more? Am I done? But then again, it's like the side stuff in these games is exceptional. Like this side content, all the side quests. There's something to all of them. Like, I really made a point of trying to do as many as I could during the game, because there's something in everything. It's the thing the Witcher's got in it. All the side stuff. It's not. I wouldn't even call it side quests. I'd call it content you could miss.
I think
not even optional content that you might not see.
I think the thing maybe to consider with regards to the DLC is that this has really been the first time seemingly that Yoko Taro has been given his head, and the fact when Automata was announced, like, folks were like, really? And that it's done like over 1 million copies really quickly, and it's sold incredibly well in Japan. And I just think that if you've enjoyed the game, giving money to Square Enix and Yoko Taro for this DLC means that you're probably going to get more Yoko Taro on Platinum Games, and surely that makes it worthwhile in of itself. Yeah.
I think that the fact that this DLC appears to just be like, I think it's just like combat arenas, isn't it? It's just it's
combat arenas
particularly because there's a screenshot I've seen of like you getting into it, and the character says something along the line of if you start doing this, it might break your immersion. And one of the replies is immersion schmimmersion.
Well, you are fighting two bosses from Square Enix, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm kind of into that. That's kind of doof.
And you're unlocking. Well, you're getting extra costumes with it, but you're unlocking kind of side stuff, and it just seems like a fun way for people to have more to fight, and more little geeky bonuses for people for the games and stuff. It just seems kind of neat, and like I say, it's just cool that Yoko Taro is probably going to get, because this has sold so well, Yoko Taro is probably going to get a bigger budget for his next game again, which is cool. And
do you know what's good about getting more Nier is you get more Nier soundtrack. Because that is that's a spicy soundtrack.
Well,
it's good.
I've been listening to the soundtracks from the originals the original soundtracks plural for years, and I think maybe the success of those soundtracks tied in a little bit to how much money the original Nier made, because those soundtracks are highly regarded and have seemingly sold incredibly well. So
I've always had them on. Like, they've always been really good background music when you're working, or you're in the kitchen playing board games or something. It's really good board game music to listen to. And Nier Automata takes the same feel of the soundtrack but with new tracks, and every now and again you'll get a hint of an old one, like that's that bit. I heard, and the stuff they do with the robots in the soundtrack, dear God,
I heard that
it's incredible.
Because I listened to the 84 Play podcast, and they did the translation and read dialogue for the.
They did. I recognised that. I
I
shot them.
And they were saying that the guy that did the dialogue didn't realise that they'd taken some of the dialogue that he'd recorded and put it into, is it Become as Gods? And he said he was playing through the final game, and he just welled up. He was just really, really shocked that something that he'd done for the Western translation had been incorporated into the soundtrack. And that's really neat. They also it has somebody found that, because there are little things that always crop up in like 84 Play translations, and one of them is it really saved my bacon, and that's like it turns up in most of them. So the first person to find it and tweet it at 84 was quite funny.
Yeah. No, the translation is really good translation. Like,
they're great.
In a rule, the writing is great, and it has been well translated. Like it's funny. Like it's you'll get conversations with characters that are quite poignant and sad, and then 5 minutes later you'll be just laughing your head off.
Yeah, 84 are great. Really
just
great.
A genius bit of translation, or like the immersion from immersion thing, like that sort of thing. You'll get a lot of that in there, and it's like, did they just said that? All right, okay, fine, this is good. But yeah, man, Nier Automata is cool. Fucking brilliant. And yeah, I may have to break my rule and play it again just to get to this DLC. But
that sounds terrible. Well, there was a day when Amazon got like a brief little lightning deal on the T-shirt edition of Nier Automata. So I was like, yeah, even if I'm just like sticking that in the corner and waiting, I won't get a chance of getting that again. So
I can't wait for you to find out what's important about the thing on the T-shirt.
Oh, you beast,
mate!
But I am enjoying the first game anyway. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Oh, superb! How far in are you roughly?
I think I've just done the quest with the two boys that want you to go to look for their mum, which was fantastic.
Okay.
Which was really fantastic. I love that. Although it can do things like that, and you're like, oh my god, that was really cool. I love the combat, and then somebody will go like, find me 6 fish and a herb, and I want to set up a business. And people
do a fishing.
Yeah. Oh no. But yeah, I am enjoying it, and I really love the stuff where, because I think that whilst it can look a little bit janky in places, I think the design work is really strong. And there's points where I genuinely think it's really, really beautiful because of that design work. It's got that kind of off-kilter sort of look that, say, Demon Souls had.
For sure. Yeah. I think Automata has the same thing. I think the design of some areas, the actual quality of the graphics look PS3 gen almost, but the way they're put together, there's the artistry there that elevates it, and the effect stuff, like the desert when the sand starts swirling, and you're like, oh shit, this is cool.
Well, I really like it when you walk into a house and it almost turns into kind of like a little doll's house on the side, and I really dig that little switch. And as I understand it, Automata kind of changes the sort of style of game that you're playing sort of even more.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet.
I know.
Oh man,
pleasure delay. So,
word.
We'll have a. I 100% will be getting through it.
Brill.
Because there's what a year for the PS4 for a start. But there's I do want to get to it, and I do want to get to other stuff as well. So.
There's a lot of good games out, aren't there, at the minute? A lot of good games.
I know. It's a
Have you been playing any of them?
I will tell you about one of them after this brief suck. Apple pop. So
what was that?
What? I'm having an apple pop.
Okay.
Hello. So I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh.
So
I understand that you're quite enjoying it from what I've seen of your Twitter.
This is very true. I've not really tucked into the previous lot, and I'm not really quite sure why. Sci-fi is my bag in a big way. Maybe sometimes it's that thing of everybody else sings from the rooftops about it, and you kind of go, maybe there's nothing there for me because everybody loves it, and there's nothing more I could say that people haven't sort of championed and described far more eloquently.
I would say Mass Effect was exactly that for me. It's the one everyone champions, and I just couldn't get into. Absolutely.
I mean, I've had a few swipes at restarting the first game, but nothing particularly clicked.
Yeah.
So this one, the game was panned for releasing unfinished, for spotty animation, which was, I'm sure we had a chat about last E3 when it was unveiled, and we were like, that lip synching's a little bit wank.
Looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it?
And then
have you seen there's a great gif I think someone's captured from one of the trailers where one of the characters points a gun forward but they're holding the gun backwards?
Yes, I've seen
it's
so
good.
so yeah, in the real you've got the stuff with like the dead eyes and they're showing all the bugs and stuff. I fancied renting it.
Okay.
Just to kind of have my own opinion on it. Plenty of folks seem to be looking past the issues and enjoying the game, because I saw a Game Informer podcast on YouTube where the team pretty much battered the game, sort of wondering where the franchise goes from here, if it's now damaged because of the way that it was released. And as I understand it, it was BioWare's decision to release it. EA were happy to delay it another 5 months, which is bizarre.
Interesting. But that's usually the other way around.
Yeah, but folks were writing in with positive comments to kind of balance out those that I kind of expected. So it didn't arrive from Boomerang Games on my week off with 6 day plus queues, and maybe that whetted the the appetite and the anticipation a little bit more. But Game had a deal whereby if you traded in 2 Xbox One and PS4 games, you got an extra £5 towards a new title. So I had loads of stuff knocking about that either it finished or it wasn't touching, and it worked out. It cost me about 20 quid to get it.
That's all right.
And if I hated it, I could still get 30 quid back in trade. So it seemed like a no-brainer. Plus I was getting like a little die-cast model of the land vehicle, the ND1 Nomad.
Okay.
Yeah, a toy car pad with 6 wheels. That's what I was getting with it. So I bought it, got it home, and I love it. I really, really love it. I'd heard the writing was bad. I'm really caught up with the story. It's a little bit of original Battlestar Galactica, particular Star Trek maybe, but a huge feel of a frontier western. Kind of a group of ships that have gathered for a new beginning, a 600-year-long sort of adventure into hyperspace and cryosleep to colonize a new planet and new beginning. And when they get there, the planet's not what they think. There's this kind of stuff in space, like this kind of electric kind of tangle of weeds that sort of the ship gets caught up in. You realise that the ships that have gone through ahead were waiting for the other people with the extra supplies and the extra stuff to come through, and they didn't get to them in time, and people were going back into cryo sleep because things weren't going right, and they tried stuff on the planet and nothing was coming off, and it's it's weird. But that Western motif was massively on my mind. Because especially because the first planet you go onto is like pretty much a desert planet, and you're going along and you're trying to find out, trying to get the planet sort of habitable for people. You're finding different elements, and so there's very No Man's Sky-ish sort of stuff in there. But you've also got a whole host of Destiny type stuff. You've got a couple of different races that are going on there. The Remnant, this sort of robotic race, and the Ket, which are this kind of very Planet of the Apes like sort of evil race that you don't quite know what's going on with yet. And I just been really taken in with it. The first reveal of kind of the big bad guy was just, there was no dialogue whatsoever. He was shorter than those that were surrounding him, and everything that was going on was met with this sort of expressionless silence. And in times where we see, so much dripping in screenwriter sort of wank exposition, this real kind of touch of class with the subtlety and stuff. The point where I got my ship, the Nemesis, which is chuffing gorgeous, I had this real feeling of like, not just awe, but being on the cusp of something important, kind of legendary. And I just delayed taking off just so I could like look around my ship and kind of I got my heart in my chest, and just because I was on the like I say, the cusp of something far bigger than me. I had this kind of childlike wonder and adventure in my tummy. If you remember, I wasn't keen on Dragon Age Inquisition. In fact,
I remember that. I would say not keen is probably underselling that.
In fact, it made me angry at how broken and empty it was. Barely held together with sellotape, while others were all Game of the Year. You should play the main storyline, they said. And I'm kind of, don't fill your word with guff for the sake of filling it, if the guff you're filling it with is so shite. But here I've enjoyed all the side quests thus far. There's been like a murder mystery on the ship, which took me planet side to investigate. There's been sabotage attempts on the, I think it's the Ark, the ship that I'm docked with. Mm-hmm. Politics aboard the ship are really engaging. Small stories of those who've travelled here for a new start I found really interesting, and I'm rather smitten with it. When I'm getting stories like two brothers have travelled across the universe to have a fresh start, and one of them dies in cryosleep, and the other one wants you to find kind of the highest point on this planet and just leave this locket so his brothers like reach the planet with him. And it's like, okay then.
That's cool. It sounds like the stories and the plot stuff is better than the initial reaction would make it seem.
We know how the internet can kind of jerk their knees at stuff, and to be fair, the game was released in sort of a fairly bad state. I mean, I started it after patch 1.3 hit, which fixed the eyes, the animation, and sort of the bugs. I've only had a few bugs during this time, mainly when I did a quick restart to show my mate Pete a few bits and bobs.
Were they at least funny?
No, you see, it was more just stuff that sort of took a while to load in, and it was on this brief segment that I showed him, which was really weird. My lad's got Man City blue hair, which is, I suppose, is another Souls carryover. and a big blocky pixel tattoo over his left eye to represent the mighty Commodore 64. Also the foot that I kick with. He's a proper smasher. He's a right Bobby Dazzler. Now I've got my hands on the in-game shaders. He's got this sort of full-on black outfit with a hint of blue and kind of this yellow and black leather jacket. He looks like he's one of Grant Morrison's X-Men.
Nice.
So I've heard on this Game Informer thing, I heard a few people say that obviously that folks really bonded with Commander Shepard, whichever version they chose to take from the starter point. But and you can choose either of the twins to play as, and the other one sort of remains in cryosleep.
They're both characters, right? Or they?
Yeah, one.
They're both. Do they both interact in the game, or do you just pick one and the other one stays asleep?
I think the other one comes to the fore a little bit later on, but mine's still in cryosleep, which is quite strange because I made it look like really kind of pretty. So there's
so not that default face with the strange lips.
No. So
why would they pick that as the default face?
I don't
it's really bad.
Particularly mind that, but although
it's not a human.
Although technically, because I did make it look sort of quite nice and quite pretty, I kind of fancy my sister in it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you're in space. National laws don't apply.
So yeah, the thing that they were saying about Commander Shepard was that, or some of the people that wrote into Game Informer, that when he came into the first game, that he was fully formed. He was recommended, ready to step up. He was a soldier that had been through some stuff. But here the riders are kind of thrown into this with relative inexperience, no pun intended. And I kind of like that they're relatively ordinary people that are thrust into the limelight and stuff. I've seen a lot said about BioWare's sort of sexy relationship stuff, and obviously it's there in your favourite The Witcher 3 as well. And I've always been I'm not sure I want that in my game. Yet early on I decided I wanted to get to know Cora, but inadvertently appeared to have flirted with Liam and got told off by this Scottish lass who's into biology. I just found a biological essay though on the planet, so maybe Knickers comes zooming off when I show her that. Who knows?
Hopefully you'll have like a thing I had with The Witcher where I didn't boink either of the two main girls at all.
Well, I've just had a guy.
Boinked everyone else.
I've just had a guy turn up on the ship who asked for a game of poker, and I made a joke about taking clothes off, and I think that also might appear to be on.
Oh,
but it was kind of cool with because the Scottish lass who pilots the ship I really really like, and she told this story about how, because she's quite religious, and she was saying that one of the reasons that she came across this brand new galaxy was that she's fascinated with her God's universe, and to be able to experience more subtleties and nuance and more grandeur than she's ever seen, she feels brings her closer to the creator. And I was like, that's really cool. I really like that. So yeah, I think Suvi is my choice thus far. Although Cora, who is kind of like the sort of the warrior raised, seems to be growing roses and speaking sort of quite poetically to me. So but Suvi, yeah, I absolutely adore Suvi. But like I say, the first planet is sort of quite a western frontier. The second one, Haval, is a lot darker, a lot more claustrophobic, lots of luminous plants, no space to jolly around in a funky six-wheeler, and it all looks a bit Halo on this planet, to be honest. Story's been interesting, but there's certainly not the same level of visual awe that I got from that desert world of Eos. I've returned back to Eos in the last few days, and the planet's opened up. I've got a lot more action mixed in with the expanding storylines. I had my first boss battle tonight, which was amazing. Completely didn't expect it, and really, really enjoyed that. I really like it. And
nice.
yet everything seems to have dried up after the bug stuff happened, and I don't know. I'm not hearing the voices that are cheering it on. and yet
Do you think the bug stuff killed its hype? Do you think that's been too big of a nail? Do you think it's too late for them to fix that? Do you think that's now what people think of? And to be honest, when you say Mass Effect Andromeda to me, I think hilarious bug face.
Well, I mean, that sort of thing.
The Assassin's Creed Unity thing, isn't it? Where
damage,
you say Assassin's Creed Unity, and I see a hideous hair monster with eyes.
Yeah, and I see my game of the year.
You do?
Yeah. But
it'd be the same thing.
I think, well, Game Informer were asking, if because the original trilogy was so highly regarded, if this hasn't sort of damaged the series going forward. But the game doesn't appear to have dropped in price yet. On Boomerang, people weren't sending it back, so they were still playing it and stuff. And I just think, yes, the game did release in a manner that it shouldn't have done, but so do a lot of games these days. But also, I think people forget that when you were on like PS2 and even going back further than that, you invested a portion of your imagination to take things on beyond what you saw, and everybody expects photorealistic these days. And yes, it's probably not the greatest example of this generation in many ways, but I've had open world fatigue in a big way with a lot of stuff, but I'm enjoying jollying around in this world in my big six-wheeler and like shooting some stuff and finding new materials and watching like more and more people come down to the planet and start building up this base and giving all these people the dream that they travelled across a galaxy to have. And I had quite a thing for westerns when I was a kid. I used to sit and watch them with my gran and stuff on Sunday afternoons, and so that aspect really speaks to me anyway. But there's a game in here.
Do you think maybe they should have let's backseat game dev here. Do you think that they probably should have held off the release,
100%.
and cooked it for another few months? I mean, for one thing, look how much great stuff's come out the last couple of months. Do you think the fact that Zelda's been out, the fact that Nier Automata's been out, people just don't have the time to delve into Mass Effect? If it's in a quote unquote laughably buggy state, why would you invest your time there when you could say get the new Zelda or one of the other options, or Horizon, for instance, that seem to be by all accounts out and working and done, and not as it sounds like they've put it as now it's an early access game, which is horse shit.
Yeah, well,
and it shouldn't be, because it should have been out, done. It shouldn't have been a game you should have laughed at. It's Mass Effect, man. It's huge.
Well, I've been playing from patch 1.3, which was a couple of weeks after it launched, maybe. And I'm not seeing the bugs.
Can you imagine if this had been an exclusive, like for the Xbox One or the PS4? Can you imagine the shitstorm we would have got? Just the armies of gleeful people going.
It's part of the internet that the gaming internet that seems sort of quite entitled to me at times. That people want to hate stuff and want to like jerk knees at stuff, and rather than kind of trying to see the good in things. I mean, going back to Nier, like there was do you remember the Sean McElroy review? Where he stopped after the first village or something.
That was Griffin McElroy or Justin, not Sean.
Oh,
Sean
sorry,
is my lovely friend.
Sean is our friend.
Sorry, Sean.
Too many McElroys in our life. It was Justin. You're right.
Yeah, it was not my friend Sean.
No.
Sorry, Sean.
Our friend Sean.
Our friend, good pal.
Yeah, I know him too.
Coming round to play the Dark Souls board game in a couple of days, Sean.
Cool.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, there was a huge degree of derision with the original Nier, and yet there was this pocket of people that just went, "Oh, if you look past that stuff, there's something really cool here."
It did, and I'm gonna do it again. It had a bit of a Dragon's Dogma, didn't it?
Dragon's Dogma didn't really have that. Dragon's Dogma had the thing whereby the fan base was 100% behind it and pushing it and trying to get it more noticed in the press. Nier had the thing whereby a lot of people had just looked at it and dismissed it as shit. whereas the fan base there were going like, ooh, there's something special going on here.
It was more of a cult thing, wasn't it? Like, I think for me, like, Nier was... I didn't get it when it came out, was the thing. I didn't realise what it was for. I rented it, and I was like, shit, this is amazing.
Right, cool.
to buy it. I'm sure I rented it first. I think that feels like what I would have done back in that sort of time of year. And then, bought it, because right, I need to play more of this, please. Boom. And yeah, then evangelised since I finished it.
But I hope a few people are maybe listening to this and give it a bit of a chance, or rent it at least and stuff. But I don't know, I've been really taken with it. And this afternoon,
nice.
I've played it for hours this afternoon.
Space is fun, isn't it?
The space is fun, but
space is fun.
That level of frontier western really, really speaks to me. And being essentially like a kind of intergalactic Jesus Christ. When I'm coming down and like getting these, getting people out of stasis, getting the planets together, getting it in sort of habitable for them, but also in covering the stories. Like on Haval, the second planet, there's
it's actually Havel.
No, I'm sorry, we're not going to turn this towards the other show. On the second planet, I can't twat about in the Nomad, unfortunately, but there's a personal story that carries through on that planet with regards to the people there and stuff, which I'm really enjoying. So yeah, I love it to pieces. I'm really really enjoying it. So
sweet.
I don't know,
cool.
Big shrug, but I can't stop playing it, and I find it more compelling than a lot of the bigger games this year as well. So.
Well, speaking of something we found compelling, I too have been playing a game where you play a person that goes around in space visiting planets and sometimes drives around on a tiny car.
One that's had derision, Patrick.
It has had derision.
What another game that's been accused of being in early access, Paddy?
And I too have been playing the 1.3 patch.
Can you imagine such a thing being an exclusive to a console?
Oh, it would get torn apart, wouldn't it? Okay, we've gone too far because it did.
No, we've tied this. The segue has been perfect.
This is beautiful segging. I've been playing No Man's Sky again.
And what brought you back to it, sir? Was it
Do you
curiosity?
know what? I don't fucking know.
Was it somehow knowing that I was enjoying Mass Effect Andromeda, and you were like, I need a little space in my soul. Well,
I kind of got to a point where I've finished a few games recently. I've finished a couple of quite plot heavy. Like I finished Nier. I've banged through the Dark Souls DLC. I've been doing my one bro, and I think I wanted something to play outside of it. What kind of tea is that, Laura?
A tea bag.
She doesn't know. All right. So I wanted something to play that I could just sort of put on, div around for a bit, and just have a bit of fun with. Something less stressful, so I could just wander about. Something a bit open world.
I miss Destiny for that regard, because I used to listen to loads of podcasts while I was just twatting about doing like bounties and stuff in Destiny. And that's it's that sort of thing I wanted to do. And like oftentimes I just want to put on a podcast and just div around for a bit. And 100%.
a lot of the games I'm playing at the minute, I can't, because I can't listen to a podcast and pay attention to what's going on if people are talking. I can't do that. So I kind of looked at my list and I thought, I've still got No Man's Sky, and I never got rid of it. I thought, well, they've updated it a couple of times. They've put the base building stuff in, which doesn't really do much for me. And they've put the car in, and apparently the worlds generate a bit funner now, and they've changed the loop a little bit. So I thought, you know what, let's get it back in. It's only like 6 gig. It's not big at all. Like, it's a small game, really. And basically deleted my save from before. I thought, no, let's start again. Let's start from the very, very beginning again. But I didn't really get that far. I kind of burned out a little bit. So I kind of started fresh again, with a new alien to run around with. Do you know what? I don't know why. I'm having more fun this time than I was before.
That's cool.
And I don't quite know why, because it's, if anything, a little bit harder, I think, for me. Maybe it's just because I got bad luck on the planets I was spawning on, but I'd always start somewhere that was kind of hot, or there was an animal that decided that it didn't like me. In a place where I wanted to stay, and it's like, no, there's these horrible bird dogs that just want to bite your dick. They're just going to come. It's going to come bite your dick off. Whenever you stand still, you see a little icon on the screen, and your dick gets bit.
Those bird dogs,
bloody bird dogs, bastards. So yeah, I thought I'll just div around for a bit, and learn enough to kind of make my spaceship work and get it up into space, and then get hyperdrive so I can kind of go to a new system. Do you know, it was just nice, just sort of divvying around, just flying around, picking stuff up. And I've had a little bit of a play with the base building. I've not really done too much yet. I've just kind of built a kind of rudimentary sort of 4-room station that's got one of the little scientists in each room that can do different things. And there's now more of a system of, there is the plot where you can go to the Atlas interface, which is kind of the icon, the red icon you see at the start, or you can try and get to the galactic core, or you can just focus on your base building. You can set up on a planet, and there's a guy there, like a scientist you can put in, who'll be like, well, I can give you the plans to make this thing if you go bring me 2 of these. And you're like, right, I'm back in a while. And you go, I know, I saw some of those on a certain planet. So you go and fly away, and you pick it up, and you come back, and you give it to him. He's like, aha, here's this thing that now means you can now craft loads and loads of stuff. I just unlocked the special car. Ooh.
Now you see, being in love with the Nomad in sort of Andromeda. Again, we have a cross reference, so you can go on.
Well, the thing is, in No Man's Sky, like whenever you pick up a new gun or a ship or a car, you can name it.
Oh, cool.
So all of my ships have been named like the Dragonfly or the Bug or the Sparrow or whichever flying thing comes to mind when I look at the ship. And I haven't actually named it yet, but I can't think of my car as anything other than the Beetle.
That's cool. That still works.
Yeah, it's more like kind of like a 4-wheel drive thing. So it's only got the 4 wheels, but you can make it do a little jump, not a big jump, just a little kind of like almost like you're sort of pumping your hydraulics kind of out like that. But if you do it off the top of a ledge, you can get some quite good air, and then you find out that it actually skids really, really good.
Oh, cool!
Like that sort of Mario Kart or Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing. Real kind of meaty power slide where you're just throwing it out to the side, but you've still got complete control. It's got that. That kept me busy for half an hour. See, no exaggeration.
You see, I'm fascinated in Andromeda with the Nomad. Like it's incredibly like weighty, like underneath. So you can get to like the top of a mountain, and you can literally boost off the top of the mountain, and it's always going to land on its feet. It's always going to land on like the 6 wheels, and there's something sort of quite childlike, almost like being at the top of a hill with a Tonka truck and stuff, just going, just like throwing it, and just I never get bored of jumping off like massive ravines with it, and then kind of like bouncing as it gets near, literally like as it falls forward, like the back end just dropping as it's getting lower and lower, and then it's like boom, just lands on its legs and keeps going. There's always that part of me, that childlike part that goes like
yeah. Well, in my first minute of driving my car, I managed to get it stuck in a hole, completely stuck down a ravine, but you can literally just respawn it from 2 button presses, and it's going to appear wherever you put it. They've really thought, right, let's not let them fuck it and have to run all the way back to get their car. You can just respawn it whenever you want, which is really, really nice. You can colour it in. You can make things different colours, which is very, very important for me, because if it ain't orange, I don't give 2 shits. I drove around for probably half an hour. I am so lost right now, because No Man's Sky gives you an entire planet to play with, 6 quintillion planets to play with. You can just pick a direction and just go, and just go and go and go and go, and I don't know what it is. Maybe they've changed the algorithms or something, or maybe they've just the colours or something look better. But these planets I've been to so far have looked just bizarre and weird and brilliant, and the kind of places you want to explore and find cool stuff in. You want to see, you want to find the weird animals. You want to find the weird, slightly there's one that had like this little kind of, imagine like a horse, right? But make the horse the dimensions of a seahorse, so quite fat in the middle and quite up, quite stood up. And then make it fly, but only about a foot off the ground.
Sort of a hover horse.
Tiny little hover horse, just tiny little wings going absolutely apeshit. The dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. It's like, ah.
Yeah, but that I know that'll appeal to you in a big way anyway.
Oh, every single one. Like, every time I find a new creature, I'm like, what do you look like? Oh, you're doofy. I've really enjoyed the fact that now that the game's had, been out for a while, the second system that I visited had actually been already discovered by a player. Shout out to you, Skelocho. And I was able to find some of the things that he'd named, or the things that he'd discovered as well. So I kind of visited his home planet and bottled around, looked at some of his plants, then posted up on my own planet in the same nebula that he'd not been to, and thought, oh, I'll look around this one. Oh, I found some new stuff. I found a planet which I really like, and I'm considering, I think, is my home planet at this point.
Cool.
Quite a lush, kind of pale blue ground, very bright, vivid green grass, lots of hills, lots of purple trees everywhere. Fun wildlife, nice weather, very nearby space stations, so I can buy new cool ships and trade and stuff. It's just the stuff they put in. I didn't think the base building stuff. It's okay. It's there. I don't think I'm going to do too much with it, but it's functional and it's there. The things they put in to help you navigate, I think, are the important things. Like, you can put down beacons and save points and communicators wherever you want now. You had to kind of spend a few resources to build them, but you can just put stuff down. So if you want to mark a spot, just like the original game suffered with, like, if you found something cool, there was no way of saying, remember that point.
So it's kind of finally evolving into the sort of game that everybody thought it would be.
I think so, yeah. I think it is still missing the multiplayer component. The fact that you can see other people's bases, which I've not done yet. I've not seen any yet, but I'm sure I will. And the fact that you can leave like kind of message balls for players. You can just kind of write like, hey, welcome to my house, near your house, and then they can turn up and see your message.
But that's clearly coming, isn't it? And you know,
I think
as an Xbox One owner, I'd just like to thank you for beta testing the eventual release for me.
It's happy to do so.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's EA Early Access. Way we've brought it back round again. But yeah, I really think this would have been just so much cooler with the multiplayer in like on it. Like, I know it's banging a drum that's been banged a lot, but no, just getting a pair of those little fucking cars and just having a drive around.
Well, you've seen
me and you. I promise you, if that was multiplayer, me and you would have driven those cars for 2 straight hours and got fabulously lost. Fabulously lost,
but probably,
and we'd have tried to jump each other. We'd have tried to do everything with those stupid cars.
I was going to say steady. But
Mass Effect Andromeda. Oops, I've done the wrong dialogue option.
But we'd probably have like just found loads of stuff and sort of built loads of stuff, and because that's what I liked about there's a game that's similar to No Man's Sky on early access on Xbox One at the minute called Astroneer. Whereby
you're talking about that,
you just kind of wander along and you can build bases and find different bits, but you've got like these kind of magical hoovers that will just vacuum up or put back in bits of ground, almost like you're playing Populous and stuff, and it looks ace. And again, I look at that and I was thinking, you and I could just get together on that and just do loads of stuff and like chat the shit. And I think we're kind of in the with the demise of the original Destiny, we're kind of missing that. Let's get together and have a catch up and have a natter and do stuff at the same time sort of game.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, that's what Destiny was, and hopefully that's what Destiny 2 might be again, because that's looking quite fun, isn't it?
Well, a lot of the stuff with Andromeda, I wonder if Destiny 2 is going to be like this, to be honest, because they've said like open worlds and different planets and stuff, and you can kind of see how that template would work anyway. Although, as I understand it, BioWare themselves have allegedly got like a Destiny like beta like on the horizon as well, which is kind of neat.
Nice.
Speaking of Horizon, have you seen the Forza Horizon 3 DLC that was announced today?
No.
Because you know, with like DLCs and stuff,
you liked that, didn't you?
Especially for racing games, it's always like, oh, there's some new cars, or there's a snowy island and stuff. Like this one, you know, Forza Horizon 3 is set in Australia. You remember the great trailers and stuff from E3 last year?
100%.
Imagine 6 islands off the coast of Australia. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all Hot Wheels tracks.
I'm sorry.
The DLC is Hot Wheels DLC, and all of the tracks,
That is weird.
all the 6 tracks are a network of connected Hot Wheels tracks positioned hundreds of feet in the air, featuring classic Hot Wheels configurations like loops, corkscrews, and more. This is stunt driving at its most extreme, where you can master the tracks by performing brand new Hot Wheels skills that make use of boost pads, high bank turns, half pipes, insane jumps, and even giant mechanical dinosaurs.
I'm just looking at a picture of it now. Oh my god.
That's what I want from a racing game.
That's brilliant.
How cool is that?
That is like that's stupid and brilliant. Like, that is exactly the kind of, because Forza Horizon was, you know, it was all about kind of having a cool, fun car time, wasn't it?
Well, it was the more Burnout version, sort of, to kind of the main game's sort of serious one. But
God, I could see this in Burnout. Like, it looks just like
awesome.
Oh fuck, that's cool. Oh, I'm well jealous now. That's great.
It says on this bit, explore the world, the Forza Horizon 3 Hot Wheels, an all-new campaign in there, completing events on your way towards the ultimate stunt driving test, an epic grand finale taking place on the massive new Hot Wheels Goliath circuit. Hook up with your friends and complete an online multiplayer racing on the Hot Wheels tracks to find out whose skills reign supreme in a brand new playground arena. That's just looks, and there's
looks like Rainbow Road.
It does. It looks amazing. It says, get ready to explore the world of Forza Horizon 3 Hot Wheels in 10 new cars, including a number of Hot Wheels world famous vehicles.
Seen some of those pictures. They look great.
It's just that's awesome. That's exactly what I want in a racing game.
The thing is, I think that's what I've been missing. Like, I don't think I've this generation, I haven't got a racing game yet. I haven't got my fighting game, and I haven't got my racing game yet. I think my fighting game's coming. Tekken 7's on its way. Yeah. That's my boy. But I haven't got, because the Need for Speed games have done nothing for me.
Well, yeah, it's weird that, because we commented on this on E3 last year. It's like, well, that's a really good, because it's sold really well for Xbox One. It's probably been the one exclusive that's done really well for them. But what happened to the arcade racer?
Yeah,
because clearly there's a market for it, because it has sold really well. But that looks amazing.
Like, you know, at this point, you know, being a PlayStation boy, I'd be down for a new Ridge Racer.
Of course you would.
Give me, like, Ridge Racer Type 4 HD. Oh, maybe that's what Bluepoint are doing.
the Bluepoint are amazing. I'm just looking at all these Hot Wheels cars now, and I'm just going like, fucking hell, this is awesome. I wonder how many season passes that Microsoft have just shifted. Given that it's a Hot Wheels. God, those pictures are amazing. I'm just looking at them now.
Toys are great, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh man,
Speaking of toys are great, do you know I've made my own toys this week?
Okay. Oh yeah, you did the was it cardboard paper?
I did, yes. Well, a couple of months ago, I finally pulled my finger out and made the cardboard Metal Gear Rex that I got. I got it with I think Laura found the files a while ago, like 10 years ago now. That came with a special edition of Metal Gear 3. I think it was the press edition. Some wonderful soul scanned them and uploaded them to the internet, and you could basically print these out and cut out and make your own papercraft model of Metal Gear Rex. And I'd had these plans for like I say, 10 fucking years. And I had a week off a couple of months back and thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a go at this. Finally, you know, I'm gonna do this. So I got some card and I printed them out, and I sat there for, I would say, probably 15 hours of work. It took over a week of cutting out these very small, intricate pieces. And these bits are small. You know, I had to get the Stanley knife out to do some of this stuff. It was diddly putting this little tiny Rex together, but I finished it up. I was like, oh dang, and he looks great. You know, he's probably about 4 inches tall, so it's not big at all. You know, it's quite a small little thing, but it looks amazing. Like, I'm really proud of it. And then I thought, well, a lot of those parts were quite small, weren't they? I wonder if I can make it bigger. So what I then did is, via Photoshop and quite a lot of mucking around with sizes and fiddling, is I've basically managed to like 200% scale it. So I've managed to print the paper out. So instead of coming out on 6 pages, and only about half of those pages contain bits for this, because there is bits to build a Shagahod from Metal Gear 3 as well, but you don't get a plan for that, so I haven't built that one. But yeah, I've taken these roughly half of these 6 pages and printed out on 14 more pages of card.
Cool.
To then cut out and build a big version. It took probably about half again as long, because it's much harder to put together a big model because you've got to hold more stuff together to glue.
Yeah.
But I now have like an 8-inch tall model of Metal Gear Rex staring at me on top of my cupboard with a little one next to it, and then the Revoltech snake, the really, really posed one that comes with a cigarette, all just stood together. I am so immensely proud of it. Look at that, thinking I spent so long building that.
That came across on the pictures that I saw on Twitter, most definitely.
I had a wonderful reply as well from Josh Crow from Morbid Beard, whose reply was, "That model kit's amazing. How much did that cost you?" And I'm like, £2 in an ink cartridge. So yeah, and what I'm going to do soon is the set that I've made, I'm going to try and get those uploaded. So you can find the standard set, the small set that will make you about a 4-inch tall Metal Gear X, but I'm going to try and get this 8-inch version uploaded to Imgur or something. So if you want to have a go, you can download it and print it out. It'll take you a lot of time, but you know, I've got through a lot of Always Sunny in Philadelphia building this. So you know, it's been win-win. I've consumed a good show and I've built a good thing.
And it's a representation of a thing that makes you very happy as well. So.
Yeah, and I put it on my shoulder to take a picture, and his leg immediately fell off the second I'd taken the picture. I hadn't let it glue enough. It had almost glued, and I was like, no, bye, and then his head fell off. Like, oh,
it's all right now then.
It's all right now. I've repaired him. I let the glue dry again, and then tried it again the next night, and then re-glued it, because you can't do it too wet, because it'll just fall straight off again. And it's quite heavy. You know, the railgun on its arm is really like a hefty bit of kit. You know, you've got to do that in the right order, or it'll just fall off when you're trying to glue it. Yeah, immensely proud of my Metal Gear Rex. And I'm back on a Metal Gear tip at the minute. You know, I really am.
Yeah, because you've been playing for the podcast you were just on.
I was, yeah. It's the Metal Gear Mondays podcast, which I discovered 2 months ago via Jeremy. Who was tweeting at Cole to say, "Hey man, the new series is coming out soon. Are you on this one?" I went, "Oh, that sounds like a good show," and I downloaded it and I listened to the first episode and I thought, "Oh, that's really cool." So I sent a quick tweet over to Alessio, who's the Gary of this show. I was like, "Oh man, I like your show. It's really good." And he's like, "Oh, cool, brilliant. Do you want to come on?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was 3 hours. 3 hours from discovery to invite. I am a tart.
You are, but I love it.
And in the 2 hours since, I've listened to almost all of the show, and it's a bonfire side chat kind of style show. Cool. They go through the games in detail, bit by bit, and they'll kind of take a chunk each week and kind of do an hour or two on it, and then do a listener responses. So I think I've probably consumed about 80 hours of that show in about 2 months. It's part of my brain now. But yeah, I got to go on it, and we talked about Metal Gear Solid 4 Act 3, which is my favourite part of that game. Because there's some dumb stuff that happens, and I wasn't able to go on for the side op, but I did call in with a response, which by all accounts seems to have gone down very well. Cool. Happy
thing that makes Paddy happy finds a new way to make Paddy happy.
Fucking love Metal Gear, man. I fucking like because of the show. I've been playing the games again as well, so I've gone through Metal Gear 1, 2, 3, and 4 again. Those games are still so fucking good, man. They're so good. Like, there's so much going on in those games. Like, they are worthy of discussion, and I think the first one is as good as it ever was. Like, I still enjoy it, and I can appreciate, 2 and 3 and 4 even, far more going through, with the context of everything I know about the series, and, with Metal Gear 5, which I consumed last year, and all the context that's given, sort of applying that back, was thinking, well, that means that's that, and ooh, and making some new connections as I've been playing. It's been really good, man. Just going back and playing a series you like again. Like I've been doing with Dark Souls 1. It's just like, oh man, this is still brilliant, isn't it?
Speaking of which,
yeah,
I have season 2 of Kamen Rider Amazons, which began a few weeks back. And the first season was my favourite telly of 2016.
It was, I remember.
So excited and nervous for this one.
Okay.
Season 1, tonally, was basically Resident Evil remake with a superhero twist. Great horror, lots of practical effects, fabulous acting, stunning direction, a huge twist, and an art house ending, which was as brave as brave as it left me aghast. It was just, it was amazing. So I wasn't sure what to expect from season 2. And that's continued into the episodes themselves. It's set 5 years after the original. There's a touch of X-Men in the mix now. Lots of brand new characters, and half the fun is seeing those from season 1 kind of crop up. The new folks are fab. The way the feel of the show is broadened and amplified is superb. It contains the single most disturbing piece of horror I've seen for a long, long time. The foreshadowing of which is just brilliantly drip-fed. And the actuality when we're shown it is fuck. I was in tears. I was as upset as I was terrified, and it's not left my mind since. I've said before that Amazons exists as kind of this dark corner of the universe, much like Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing were in the DCU back in the day. More mature in tone, but never going for realistic or grim and gritty. That scene I mentioned as well was just stunningly shot. You see nothing and you see everything. The imagination ignites, and I still can't shake it off. So it's 2 episodes deep thus far, and episode 2 ended on the most belting cliffhanger. So it's the best telly of 2016. Looks like being the best telly of 2017. Loads of brave, creative, challenging choices on this new run. There's no retreads. There's even a different look, whereas the first season kind of had this sort of bleached remake, a Resident Evil remake sort of look. This one looks to almost have like a sepia, almost sort of 70s film sort of grandeur to it. It's fab. I'm
interesting.
Really taking
I have a really strange question to ask you.
Yes.
How long is an episode of this show roughly?
22 minutes.
That's great. Because I've recently, with telly, not to go on a side tangent here, but I found with telly, I can't watch 45-minute, hour-long, American serialized shows anymore. I just don't have the patience. I get home from work, I just want to watch something short and fun.
Well, I mean,
or short and, I don't want to give my entire evening to watching, an hour-long episode of a show when I could just watch, 20 or 25 minutes of something that's over and done, Do you know what I mean?
Well, I a lot of the time because I've said that like fatigue hits me sort of quite a big way with regards to the way that my shifts can be and stuff, but I can get home and put an episode of like Go Kaigers on or something like that, and 20 minutes I'm smiling by the end of it. And there's normally something like cool or ace or like a piece of something that brings out sort of the kid in me and stuff, and I adore that. I mean, to give you an idea as well, the previous, how you clued me into the new series of Super Sentai coming up with the 9 different guys and stuff.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Oh no,
and sadly, it's not.
But one of the characters was a robot chef.
Yes.
How is that not great?
It's
Is this the new Transformers films where they managed to get Optimus Prime wielding a flaming sword, riding a robot dinosaur, and I somehow didn't give a shit?
No, I think the stuff with going through Super Sentai, the stuff that I've enjoyed the most, like Go Kaigers or last year's like Zuoga. You could see they were aiming at like a younger audience as well, but there was a real charm with the characters, and there was a depth to the storytelling. There was something that like an older audience could enjoy as well, and there was like a real sort of wonderful dichotomy between the two. And the new one seems to be going for purely for the younger audience. There's not been a well written episode yet. There's not been a well-directed episode yet. But on the other side of that, like last year's series, Dobutsu Sentai Zuoga, had a movie, which I mentioned ages ago because it's called The Heart-Pounding Circus Panic.
I remember that.
Yeah. And they normally release a Super Sentai movie in Japan as a double bill with a Kamen Rider, a regular Kamen Rider sort of movie as well. So I do remember like double bills at cinemas anyway. But I was quite surprised when this one turned up on my streaming site because it's actually only 27 minutes long.
Huh.
And is absolutely exceptional. It's sharp, to the point, amazing. The editing's awesome. It's absurd. It's scary. Like wonderful villain. It's about the team getting a flyer for a circus where humans are dressed up as animals, much like their uncle does. The lad that's like the Zuo Eagle, much like his uncle does at sort of the zoo he runs. And the team spot that they may be sort of Zoomans, and Zooland is the place where the rest of the team kind of originate from and are kind of trapped on Earth. So they wonder if these people have got a way home. The time at the circus is interrupted by a dark ringmaster, Domidol, who kidnaps all the children and uses their cries to power his ship. He's previously set a group of planets on fire so he can form them into a hoop to jump through. And now he wants to build a trapeze between two of the planets, and Earth is in the way. Well played, sir. Well played. Amongst the kids, Sella, who's the shark. There's Leo, who's the lion. Amu, who's the tiger. Tusk, who's the elephant. But Yamato, who's who does eagle, gorilla, and whale, is like stranded on Earth, and he's desperately trying to get through a barrage of defenses to get to the ship. Like I say, the villain's just horrible. He's great. I've watched it like 5 times now. I love it to pieces. But 27 minutes, and it just comes at like the editing's just so finessed and so wonderful. And it's a great little intro to how good like Super Sentai can be, how it can hit all ages like a good old comic used to. But 27 minutes, I'm flabbergasted at how it does what it does so quickly, and it properly hits in the feels as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, so enjoyed it.
Speaking of all ages, I've been reading something new recently. So I've been bouncing off a lot of stuff. I've been trying a few things on Crunchyroll, on the main site, and I've been trying a few of the manga stuff. Like the new series of Attack on Titan isn't doing a lot for me at the moment.
Okay.
The 7 Deadly Sins has come back on Netflix, and that's not really hitting for me either. It's kind of a bit directionless at the moment, and I'm not kind of enjoying that. I tried Fairy Tail. I didn't really enjoy that either. Do you know what I've found that I really enjoy? I'm quite enjoying One Piece.
Cool. You've only got 8,630 episodes to go.
I've been reading the manga.
Yeah.
I've got that on my phone at the moment, and I've been going through that, and I'm up to issue 125 of 873.
You're doing well, sir.
It has taken a while. This has taken a couple of weeks to get to this point. It's not short, but it's just nice. It's
cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The characters are all really just nice.
But that kind of, I find it quite good for the well-being when there's something that brings that level of joy, and it's not trying to be relatable, and it's not trying to be realistic. It's just like a rip-roaring adventure with, where it just feels like all the shackles are taken off. There's a full paint box to colour from, and I don't know, you just find yourself kind of glowing a little bit from it. Yeah,
it's not afraid to have a smile on its face. It's not afraid to have fun with it, and even the characters that are supposed to be annoying, I think in the past I might have found annoying. I'm like, this is fine. These are just amusing, colourful characters in this wonderful pirate world where people have strange powers. But it's always fun.
Is it pushing JoJo buttons in that regard?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. It's got that sense of knowing what it is, and it's not trying to be big. We're going to answer some serious questions about the nature of the soul today. Nah, we're just going to have a fun pirate adventure.
But the fact that the guy's still been putting these out consistently, and they're selling a couple of million copies every time there's a book that goes out, even aside from the individual sort of chapters being in sort of weekly comics and stuff.
Weekly jumps. Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
It's really great, and it's just fun, man. And in a way, I've bounced off a lot of stuff because it's it's not really hitting home. It's kind of like, oh, all right. We started watching what's it called? ReZero.
Okay.
Which is the one about bog standard guy wakes up in a video game style world and things happen, but then he dies and he starts again at the beginning of the same day, and it was all right for a bit, and then it kind of, while it was kind of parodying those sort of things a little, not quite parodying, but being a reflection of those things, it's like a darker one, and then it kind of just became one of those things. And it's like, oh, there's two maids and they're twins and they're both quite attractive, and every woman in the entire world wants to boink the main character. Like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, I like video game stuff, but I've never really clicked with that sort of thing outside of maybe Summer Wars, and there was another film that I really enjoyed. But TV series wise, no, it's
but let me give you one then. Let me give you a suggestion first, and then we'll see how we go from there.
Yeah, we'll see how we get on.
Buy me a drink first, God. The one I've found that takes that idea and rolls with it and does a fantastic job of being a parody of the I've fallen into a video game lol is Konosuba. God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. Season 2 was out recently, and me and Laura kind of banged through it in a couple of days. And man, that show's just good fun. Like, it doesn't take itself super seriously. The writing is really, really good. Like, it's funny, and I don't mean that it's funny for an anime. It's funny. Like, and the characters are all great. Like, there's something massively wrong with all of them, and there's no kind of like perfect magical princess girls. There's something wrong with everybody. They're all a little bit broken in the head. But that's what makes them better characters, and that's what makes them interact better, and that's what makes what they're doing carry more weight and more gravitas. Because when they do something important, it's like, oh god, they are cool. This okay. Here's your example. There's a character called Megami, and she's the wizard, the wizard. And in this sort of universe, you can spend your experience points on learning new skills and new talents. She has only ever learnt the most powerful magic possible. It's the only spell she knows. She can cast it once and she passes out. She can only do it once a day. That's the only spell she can do. Because her whole idea is, why would you ever do anything that's not the most powerful thing? And it's great. And it's really fun. And how they work that in, and like when she fires that off and she's like, right, I need you to carry me now, and just passes out in the middle of the battle. And have to run in and get it. And all the characters have something like that, that's not quite right with them. But the main character is knowing and a little bit sarcastic, but utterly enjoying himself and making the most of it. And it's just a good time. And like, the series isn't long. Like, I think the second series just finished. Each series is about 10 episodes long, so you can bang through it in a week easy. And it's such a nice show. And every time me and Laura watched it, we finished it with smiles on our faces.
That's cool.
What would you want out of an entertainment thing than that?
What more do you want?
To be entertained.
I know.
I think I'm out of things I've done. I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can remember.
Well, I've got sort of one thing, a really good film that I watched. It's a Japanese movie called Enoshima Prism. It's about three friends at school, two boys, Shuta and Saku, and a girl, Michiru. Michiru is going away to study in England and can't tell the boys. So she writes a letter to Saku and gives it to him like the night that she's leaving. And in a string of circumstances which sees Shuta borrowing Saku's bike and Saku running for the train to see Michiru off, Saku's heart reveals a defect and he dies. Michiru leaves for England and never returns. On the second anniversary of Saku's death, his mum speaks to Shuta, says his friend should take things from Saku's room to remember him by, because they're only gathering dust. And Shuta chooses this kind of chunky sized box from the bookshelf. On the train, we're shown that this box contains a little book about time travel, as well as this blue toy watch. And Shuta puts the watch on, follows the instructions, and arrives back at their final day together. Rather than this being kind of a pure Groundhog Day riff, If Shooter's pulled out from that time in the past, be it shock or whatever that jolts him from it, if he wakes up in bed ready again for the 2-year anniversary of Saku's death, the point he travels back again, he arrives at the point that he's left off. He sees this occult club at school that's trying to revive the ghost of a girl that's committed suicide, and it turns out that the girl Kyoko died in the war, and she's lived in the school since then. She's read every book in the library. He tries to make the final day with his friends as good as he can, to do something special for Kyoko, but is warned that by tampering with the timeline, he could be undoing them ever having known one another. You can tell the crack in my voice how this affected me. I loved it to pieces. I laughed, I sobbed my heart out. It's a stunning ending. Again, it's filmed 90 minutes long, so perfect for a film. It still brings a lump in my throat to think about it. Shooter's played by Kamen Rider Forza actor Sota Fukushi, who I just think is incredible anyway. He's becoming one of Japan's most revered actors in his own right now. He's the reason that I found it, and he's incredible in it. Fukushi's next role is as a villain in Takashi Miike's movie adaptation of esteemed manga Blade of the Immortal. Takashi Miike, some folks may know best as the teacher in Battle Royale. He made the exceptional 13 Assassins a few years back, and is currently directing a little movie you may have heard of called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh!
So, but yeah, that's just a little sort of slight aside for you. But yeah, it was a great film. I genuinely loved it to pieces, and it was just this perfect sort of pocket of 90 minutes, and I properly sobbed. It was good stuff.
Well, that's great, because I found that recently, me and Laura were trying to watch a film the other day, and every film's 2.5 fucking hours now.
I can get tired flicking through Netflix, and
seriously 20 minutes going through Netflix and nothing was jumping out like, that's too long, that's far too long.
Well, a lot of the Japanese sort of, the drama movies like this are 90 minutes long, which is perfect for a movie anyway. But it comes back again to how I can, easily sit in front of 20 minutes of Gokaigas and stuff and just end up smiling, and it surprises me, and it's good fun, and that's why my response to mostly anything on Twitter is with Gokaiga pictures at the minute. But before we go, there is something that I thought to mention to you, because it's a little bit left to centre, and it's kind of interesting. Have you ever seen Comic Book Girl 19 on YouTube?
I am aware of her, yes.
Yes. I really like her channel. For those that aren't familiar, it's sort of packed with sort of books and comics and films and lots of really cool geekery for the last 4 years, I think. She's a huge Dune fan and is attempting a book club on the first novel, and is sorting a package for everyone that wants to get involved. It includes a signed version of the first novel, one which doesn't feature chapters. Apparently, that's the original way that it was done. Alongside a bookmark, a spice necklace, and a pin for $30. And once everybody has them, it's going to be 60 pages a week discussed on Twitch. Fucking ace.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm really up for this. I've always kind of fancied reading Dune.
I've read it. It's heavy going. I think having that Twitch, having that kind of support group would help, because particularly at the start, I fucking struggled with Dune.
Well, yeah,
it's rough. It's the same way Lord of the Rings can be quite a hard read when you first kind of come into it. Like, whoa, they're throwing a lot of concepts at me here.
I just like that, because she said 60 pages a week, and then we all have a chat about it. And with her being super passionate about the Dune books anyway, and kind of having that that senpai that you can talk about, people can talk about the things that they thought were special, or the things they didn't get, and the stuff that they struggled with, and I just think that's going to be a really good Twitch stream. And it's people on YouTube are losing a lot of money at the moment with all the stuff that's been going on with advertising and YouTube seemingly screwing a lot of people over. I just think it's an ambitious thing to suddenly go, right, let's see how many copies of Dune we can buy. Let's have bookmarks made. Let's have pins made. I'll sign all these books. And she's talked to people about, she'll send them all over the world and stuff. $30 for all of that stuff's pretty neat. I like the thought of supporting her. Plus, it's, it is an ambitious idea. So if you fancy it, cbg19.bigcartel.com. But I'm pretty much up for this, I think.
It's great, man.
Yeah.
I'd be up to reading Dune again, I think, maybe. Yeah. I've got enough books to read at the minute anyway, but I think the fact I've read it once helps. I find that I can read a book faster and better the second time because I haven't got to think, Kwisatz Haderach, what the fuck was that?
But I just think that conversation at the end is going to be like almost like a massive interactive podcast, and it may well set some people's minds alight with different possibilities or different things that they maybe missed or didn't click with, or that discussion is going to be fantastic. I just find this really exciting, and
I do enjoy like digging into books and things in that way, like giving it that kind of that proper focused look. And hey, segue. If you like digging into books, and if you maybe like Stephen King's Dark Tower book, you can hear me on the Dark Tower podcast from Duckfeed, run by Cole, Radio Free Midworld, talking about the Dark Tower books bit by bit in chunks of about 60 pages at a time.
Have you heard about that TV series that's coming out that's like a universe of Stephen King characters?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like Dark Tower's my only real in with Stephen King. It's the only one I've read, and again, we discussed this more on that show. And I've only read the first 4 books of that so far, so a lot of the extra stuff. Oh, and The Stand, because The Stand's fucking brilliant. I'm kind of intrigued, and I'm kind of looking forward to the Dark Tower film as well. I'm not sure what to make of it, but they're saying it's got some stuff in there from like the last 3 books in that first film. It's going to be very much in, what's the word for it? In medias res, when things are kind of in the middle but not quite, and they're doing something a bit different with it. So I'm into it, and fucking Idris Elba is the gunslinger. That's perfect. Like, that's dead on. Like, I'd never have considered that, and now it's the only thing I can see.
Just hope it's good, especially because there's certain books that I can't go near the film adaptations of, just simply because the things that I loved about the book exist in my head, and I don't want to put like a certain design to them, or have the film sort of, I don't know, butter over the things that I've already felt and visualised.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried about watching Starship Troopers again, because I read the book last month.
All right, cool.
Which is cool. It's very... It literally is like, this is a Space Marine. Like, this was the template for Space Marines. Like, this is what they are. And I know the film was strange. Like, it was more about the bug hunt itself than the kind of the training and stuff. But, I'm giving Starship Troopers a go again later to see how different it was with that context now.
I know somebody mentioned on Twitter to Comic Book Girl 19, they was saying like, so should I see the David Lynch Dune movie before or after reading the book? She was like, up to you. Depends what you want. Although I hear that Jodorowsky's Dune documentary is amazing.
I've heard about it. Yeah, I've not seen it. I read the book, then I watched the film. I think that helped a little bit. I think I wouldn't have understood the film if I hadn't read the book. Even then, it's still, you've got to pay attention, And I've been meaning to watch that documentary thing for a while. So I'm very into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So anything else you've done because I've done loads of stuff. I'm all over the place at the moment.
We'll have another episode and talk about some more stuff, because I think we're nearly at the 1/4 to 2 hour mark.
We are. Okay, in which case then I'm going to just pimp a couple of things I've done that you can very quickly click that I've mentioned during the show, but I'll just mention again at the end here. So yeah, if you like to hear me talk about a book that I quite like about boys on a beach, then tune into Radio Free Midworld from the Duckfeed Network. Cole Ross from Bonfireside Chat, you will know him if you're listening to us, runs that show. It's super fun, taking chunks of the book, reading bit by bit, giving it that Bonfireside Chat, sort of slow, methodical look over, but quite a lot of goof it's been a good time, and there's some really cool people on that show as well. And it's been a joy every time I've been on. So that's Radio Free Midworld, and as I mentioned earlier, I've also been on Metal Gear Mondays as well, which is the bonfire side chat of Metal Gear Solid.
You double pimping. You're double pimping both of these now.
I'm all about it, mate. No, I had so much fun.
Them.
I had so much fun. I want to do it again, just at the end. Metal Gear Mondays. The guys are amazing. Alessio and Sam and Isaac are wonderful people. Really fun show. Really good. Just enjoyable time talking about a thing that I really like talking about that we've never delved into that much. And you know how when we had Chris Mosher on to talk about Metal Gear, just that, but more. It's just it was good, and it's a good show, man. You should listen to it. And I'm doing my one bro still going. 36 episodes in the can at current time of recording. 32 is up at the moment. The rest will be going up this week. I'm going to try and go faster on these. I'm going to try and get them out one a day. I'm going to record a chunk at the weekend and then put them up one a day because they're quite easy to put together these days. So hopefully the One Bro is going to start moving quicker because Gav Russell has already beaten it, and I am proud of you, Gav, but I want to be better than you.
Eclipsed.
I'm having. He hasn't done the DLC. I'm going to do the DLC. I'm going to try. I can't promise anything, but I will try. I think that's everything I've done that's new since the last time we spoke.
Thank you for listening, people. We will speak to you again really soon.
Very soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.